In this video, we're going to replace the stock rotors on a Plymouth Prowler with these slot and drilled rotors from Dynamic Frictions. A link to this rotor is in the description below. So let's get started on replacing the rotor. First thing we're going to do is come in here and pop off this cap. Okay, to remove the cap, what I typically do is use a flathead screwdriver. Find an old rag so you don't scratch it. Stick the flathead screwdriver in, find the location where there's a little tab. Pop that up, right here it is. You want to just gently pry it off. And try not to do what I just did, but now I have access to the lug nuts. I'm gonna go. All right, the lug nuts on here are 19 millimeters. I also have a wheel lock on here, which I found this in my glove box. I'm gonna go ahead and loosen the lug nuts before I jack up the car. Before I jack up the car, make sure that you also put the e-brake on and make sure you have jack stands to be safe and make sure the car doesn't fall. All right, when jacking up the Prowler, you want to make sure that you hit this lift point here. There's a rubber pad. You can reach underneath and see it. What I like to do is sometimes put a block under there so that I know the jack won't hit the side of the plastic fender and break off. So what I'm gonna do is put that block under there like such, and then slowly raise the vehicle. All right, tires off the ground. I'm gonna go get my jack stands and place the jack stands under the front to be safe. All right, here's the jack stand. I'm gonna come over here. I'm going to place the jack stand in appropriate location. Make sure it's secure. All right. Now I can start removing the lug nuts. There we go. You can see this wheel's pretty dirty, so I'm going to take this opportunity and wash up and polish this chrome wheel so it looks like brand new or darn close. I'm also going to inspect the tread. It looks really good, and you can see here is the rotor. And then what I'm going to have to do is remove that brake caliper to get the rotor off. Before you remove the brake caliper, have a bucket or a block nearby so that you can set the caliper on and it won't pinch that cable. But what I'm going to do here is remove the 13 millimeter bolt here on either side, on the top and the bottom, and then the caliper comes off. At this point, I'm not going to replace the brake pads because I've replaced these a few years ago. I don't have that many miles on the car, and the pads are in really good shape. I put a semi-ceramic pad on it to cut down on the brake dust. Now you can see that rotor is free. So now the rotor just comes right off. There's the stock rotor. And I'm gonna put the new one on. But before I put the new one on, I'm gonna clean up this. I might add a little bit of paint to a few of the areas that are showing some corrosion, just to make it nice since I've access. I'm also going to clean the fender well before I go and install the new rotor. To polish up the back of the wheel, I'm going to use this Barkeeper's Friend. It's like a toilet bowl cleaner, but it really works well. I use it on my boat to clean up the stainless steel and the pitting. So I'm going to see how it does. You can see that I have quite a bit of oxidation on this wheel, so I'm going to use this and then I'm going to use a wax or polish afterwards. So let's see how it turns out. All right, I finished polishing the wheel using the Barkeeper's Friend. Then I finished with the chrome polish. It does look a lot better on the face, but inside I still have that pitting. You can see it does look significantly better than before, but it still is problematic. It'll eventually need to be re-chromed, but I'm gonna go ahead and remount this. All right, I got everything ready to install. I put a nice healthy coat of anti-seize around the hub and also on the back face of the new rotor, so that when I go to take that off in a few years, there won't be any problems with corrosion. So I simply take this, line up the bolt holes. There you have it. You could take one nut, thread it on here to help keep it from flopping out. All right, now I'm going to install the old caliper. Looks like I might have to use a spreader tool and push the brake caliper slightly back in and compress it. All right, I go ahead and compress that brake rotor just slightly. Not very much pressure. Now you can see it slides on without issue. There we go. Bolts line up. I'm going to install these bolts. I'm going to make sure I put some fresh anti-seize on it. These go to 20 foot-pounds of torque, and I'm going to tighten those and torque those down. All right, got that torqued down. Gonna mount this tire. Remember, I put anti-seize on the different studs to make sure that the lug nuts are free flowing without friction or low friction. I'm going to line up where the tire was before. I had the rotation near the top, right like that. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get it. And then I'm lifting the tire, putting it in there. Now I'm going to install the lug nuts. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the car and then tighten them in a star-like pattern. Let me get this locking one on. Now I'm going to come over here, jack the car up a little bit, remove my jack stand, and then I'm going to lower the vehicle gently and torque all the bolts, or lug nuts. All right, I'm going to set the torque wrench to 100 foot-pounds of torque. Now I'm going to tighten these down. Then I'm going to go across, opposite, star-like pattern. Okay. Do this one. That's 100 foot-pounds of torque. Put my lug nut on. All right, there we go. Definitely looks cooler. Reinstall the center cap. You want to be careful not to break tabs. It pops right on. There you have it. It looks really good. So this is what it looks like, the final product. It's a cross-drilled rotor. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side of the vehicle and then take it out for a cruise. I hope you liked this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.